Croeso, welcome in Welsh. I made this sign for a local primary school, which is bilingual school, and I'm going to show you how I did it. It's done with just a couple of tools, mainly 97%. Very quick, down and dirty, needs a large, simple font, and I chose this one because it is a primary school, nice and friendly. And I'm going to show you how I created this sign in a couple of hours, step by step. I've taken my letters from this book and I put details below, called Buchstaben by Koch, who's an Austrian carver. And I've chosen this font among many, many other fonts he's got because it's chunky, I think it's very friendly. I think we can see down here, smaller version of it. It's sort of friendly, a bit loose, bold. And that's what we want for a big letter, big, bold, friendly lettering. So what I did was I took some prints off. I made some letters separately on bits of paper. It's a small word, but what I did then was I just started playing around. Do I want them in a straight line? Do I want them, wiggledy? How would I like them? How would I like them spaced? So I'm just playing with this, and this is really important to get all this right before, or to get some good idea of it before we put it into the wood. And in the end, I arrived at actually something quite ordinary. I thought they worked quite well in a straight line like that. The one thing I did do is make this C a little bit bigger, about 15%. I think that needed a bit of chunk at the end to match particularly this strong letter at the back. If you look here, for example, even if this was down, that's the same size, but it's a sort of weak shape because it doesn't really connect to the bottom line at all. So that was my final rough sketch out, and so once I've got that in my head, I can turn to the wood and have a look at that. This is a board I'm going to use. It's a piece of elm. It's quite warped, but that really doesn't matter for this carving. But I have made it so that the warping goes against the wall like this, rather than, rocking. It's also got a little bit of a fault here, a little bit of sapwood there. But this is high up on the wall, and this will go at the back, so that'll be hidden. So there's my wood. What I've done is I've looked at my drawing, worked out the length and the height, the proportion, and I know that I've got extra wood along here, and I've drawn in where I think the header and footer line will be. So that's the top of the C there and the bottom. Then the rest of the letters will be this width, this height rather. To draw those lines, a good little trick is to use your set square, and you run it along like this, but you put your pencil or your biro or whatever, and you can run that along like that, so you can draw a line in from end to end without marking the wood. I've done this in ink, but I am actually going to draw this now directly on the wood. A lot of the times on this site we've blown up the letters and literally stuck them to the wood, but this time I'm going to draw them directly into the wood. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. I've got my letters in front of me, so I'm just going to eye them through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it with my a pencil. This is a 2B pencil. It's quite soft and the wood is quite rough, so it's a nice sort of grip to the pencil as it goes round. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to do this pivoting thing that I do when I'm carving on my hand. So to get this curve of the C, I'm actually going to go like this, because it's much easier to do that than to do this. So I might well be turning the wood round or moving around, but that's the way I'll do it. So I've got here is where I'm going to start. There's my header, there's my footer. So I'm just going to start very lightly, looking at this, to see if I can get that sort of shape. So I'm coming round, light strokes to begin with, and then you can firm them up. So it's coming around here like this. That's about right. I'm going to come round here. we're coming over like so. So there's my outside line, and it's coming up like this. And then there's a bit across here. And then there's a certain thickness which I'll have to decide to the letter. So it's something like that. So it gets thick as it comes over here, and it comes round like that. And then there's an angle here. So once I'm fairly happy with that, I can just put that in a bit stronger. What I'm after more than anything else is not necessarily copying that, but getting a nice fluid sort of shape. Coming down here, there's the thinnest part of the letter is about here. So I'll come down like that. Yeah, but getting away the camera a little bit here, I think, but that's what I have to do. So there's my first letter there, and I will, when I'm finished, put it in with this Sharpie, so it's pretty much there. If I don't like it, then being pencil I can, you know, rub a little bit out there like that and just correct it till I'm happy, something like that. So once I've done that, I can start putting in the next letter. Because this is over long, I can just line each letter up to the next one and hope it's, well, not hope it's right, but I'll come to an end and I'll have more length left over. Just going to alter that a little bit, a little bit fatter here. There we go. Yeah, I like the look of that letter. Right, so what I will do is I'll make a note on this piece of card of like what the thick part is. So that's like a thick, that there is a thick bit of letter. So when I come to do the R, which I will start off with a set square somewhere about here, I know that this letter is going to be that thick. So that's now my, anything that's straight is an upright, that's my width. So I'll pop that in there. It's slightly curved, and it has this angle here, and then it sticks out there. And this chunky is more or less the same, slightly less here. So I'm looking at the letter form. I'm looking around like this. And that'll be down there like that. There you go, that's my drawing. I'm pretty pleased with that. I did forget to say that if you've got a dark coloured wood, you might like to use a crayon or a light white pencil on it. That can be quite good. So I've got my drawing in there, I've got my ends where I think it's going to go. But this is all a bit smudgy because I've rubbed my hand over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully go over with a Sharpie and take those edges in so that I'm very clear about where I'm going. And then we can get on with the carving, which is all this background down here, leaving this bit on the surface.